We just need to come home for a minute and just be in your body and feel what's going on in your body instead of chasing and looking for things. Especially with women, we've been programmed to not like parts of our bodies, and getting women to stand in front of a mirror with no clothes on and tell themselves that they love every part of themselves. That has been the biggest challenge for women to do. But it has been amazing because once they overcome that, they feel so much confidence to go out in the world and even get new relationships.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to the Vibrant Soul Society, The Conversations. Our mission here is to simply help us to see that we are greater than our thought. And beyond our thoughts is our aliveness, our beingness, whatever you wish to call that. We have a very special guest with us to help us live a better life, to help us get rid of some of this mental stuff that is holding us back. So Louise, welcome to the Conversations.
Hello, thank you so much for having me, Mama Sam. It's lovely to be here.
Yeah, great to have you. So people that are unfamiliar with you, who is Louise?
So, my name is Louise, obviously, but I help people change their life using the power of their mind. So I do that with a combination really of hypnotherapy and coaching, and combine it together to make stronger, powerful success in people's lives. So essentially I try to move clients beyond their beliefs, beyond their thinking, and show them that the thinking is not.
So how'd you get into this space? What was your life before? Now you're into hypnotherapy and these other things.
It was a bit traumatic, actually. It was in 2018. I was running a successful businesses already. I've been doing a lot of catering companies since I was young. So I was running bars, restaurants, even a boat on the Thames. And then one night in October, it was raining, and this is the moment that changed everything for me. I was laying in a hospital bed and I was surrounded by police, the pitying looks of police, because that night I'd been attacked. And the doctors kept coming in, and each doctor, each nurse would have to ask me the same question. And I just remember thinking, why do I have to keep repeating it? But can you imagine you're just laying there and you have to keep saying that you got kicked in the face, you got bitten, you got your eyes poked out, you had your hair dragged down the street, you had your arm broken, which needed surgery, and you had to keep repeating that and repeating that over and over. It was that moment that I lost my mind, and it was very traumatic, but it wasn't the trauma itself, it was the afterwards, which was worse in some way, because I refused to ask for help. And so many people do this. Do you know, 3 out of 4 people ask for help, but only in a life and death situation, which means that even in a life and death situation, one person still won't ask for help. And it took me so long. And when I finally went to the doctors to say, I'm struggling, I was diagnosed with PTSD, and it made sense, to be fair. I was at the point where I'd avoided asking for help for so long. And in England, they give you an NHS waiting appointment, which takes 6 months. But at this time, I had made the decision to change. So I was looking for ways to essentially help myself in the waiting time of waiting for the doctors. So I stumbled on hypnosis when I wanted to sleep, because I was hypervigilant. I was up all night. I could never sleep. And I don't know if you've ever felt like that, but it's not a place to be, because your mental health is so affected when you can't sleep. And the first night I listened to hypnosis, I could sleep. And it changed everything. I couldn't believe how powerful it was, because when I heard hypnosis before, I thought of like stage hypnosis. I didn't know how it worked. But when I saw how quickly I changed and how quickly I became better, after I cured like the PTSD, I actually left all my companies and decided to retrain, become a therapist, and then later a coach, and combined it. But it was like a big emotional impact. But I'm so grateful for it, because my whole life growing up, I never knew what I wanted to do. So I just went from thing to thing and chased money. And I'm really grateful for what he did to me that night, because I don't think I wouldn't be here. Well, I wouldn't be talking to you if I hadn't happened. So it was a journey, but I'm really grateful for how the ending happened.
It's really unfortunate sometimes that we have these really traumatic, difficult experiences.
Yeah.
And we really don't allow ourselves to ask for help, like you were saying, that we wallow in this place, and many do for a very long time, and it just starts to build and build, creating more issues for you.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting that you're like, I just can't sleep. So what can I do to help me sleep better?
That's
Then
exactly that.
did you search YouTube? How did you
Yeah.
find this program?
YouTube was my first stop. I did meditations. I did some, I think, Paul McKenna sort of recordings. Then I found someone who did it. And then I spoke to them. Then I started doing it regularly with them until I got my appointment. By the time I got my appointment, because the doctor actually prescribed me medication, but I was so against taking it that I didn't. I know some people will need it, but I didn't take it. By the time I went back to the doctor and saw a specialist, my health was so improved by what you did by yourself. And it made me think like how powerful your mind is, because your mind can convince you of anything. Because one day after this attack, I was walking down my road and I was at my lowest point and I just done something really ridiculous, jumped and punched a bush because I was so convinced that there was danger following me all the time. And there wasn't. The poor bush didn't know what happened. But it just goes to show, you think that your mind can trick you to think that you're in danger. What else can it do? Can it trick you the opposite way as well? So it really fascinated me. And I kept studying everything after that.
So even walking down that path and punching the bush, you're still dealing with the PTSD. And
Yeah.
that really kept you locked into a reality that was not supportive
Yeah.
to you, because that's what the mind can do. The mind breaks into these loops. And one of the loops that we can really get into is doctor's medicine. And we don't break that cycle of stepping into our own power, our own essence. And I was in that place for 38 years. I didn't know any way out. That was my reality, doctor's medicine diagnosis. It almost like we create these blind spots. We physically can't see another way, that this is the only path. But it's really good that you had the curiosity. What's
Yeah.
out there that can help me to sleep? And
Yes.
YouTube is one of the biggest search engines in the world. So you just type in
Right.
YouTube, let's try something here. And you happen to stumble onto something that worked
Really.
for you.
Yeah. And I wanted to go back to the medicine thing. What heals your body? So if you fall down and you cut your hand, and you go to the doctor, that's going to put a bandage on it, a plaster on it. But really, what's healing it? Your body has all the capability to heal itself, which is what I share with people. Not because I'm against medicine, because we need it. Sometimes if you've got an infection, you want to take some antibiotics. But I think sometimes we need to look at the whole picture. And with me, I try and do mind, body, and soul and combine it all and make sure, because a lot of time we can improve so much from just resting well, eating well, sleeping well, just having a great environment around you. We can improve so much just by doing these things alone.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a really good question to ask people. What heals your body?
Mm-hmm.
And the mind is really powerful with that. Like you're talking about the hand, but I like to mention to people, if you get a paper cut on your finger, you don't need to worry about it. It'll take care of itself. But if you start focusing on your finger and obsess about it, there's a good chance it'll become infected, because that is the power of the mind. We'll
Right.
obsess that something is wrong.
It can cause illness as well, which I find fascinating, especially like Louise Hay. So I loved her book. I read her book. One of the first books I read was hers about healing your body. And I love that there's many emotional reasons for things that goes on with you. So I've always referred them to the book, not to give them, for me to tell them, but for them to find it out themselves. And when they read it, it's like they have an aha moment, like that their emotions have tied them to this cycle, especially pushing down emotions and not dealing with things, diseases and stuff coming out. And then when they change their mind and change their mindset or their reprogramming, how things start to go the opposite direction. They start to get better without any medicine. Because your mind is an instrument. Like what you say to your mind, your body responds to, which fascinates me. So when I do speeches on stage, I try to demonstrate this, that whatever you say to your body, it will do. It's incredible how we're made.
what you say to the body is so important, because I don't know in your own experience, but when I'm talking with individuals that are dealing with autoimmune diseases, like I was myself, I had multiple sclerosis that I no longer have. But one of the things I see, everybody with an autoimmune disease has some element of self-judgment or self-criticism where they don't measure up. So they start attacking themselves. And if you keep attacking yourself, the body starts attacking itself. So the mind is giving marching instructions.
It's incredible how it does. And it makes sense when you think about it. If you're attacking you, then it is going to attack you internally, especially with a lot of people with cancer. A lot of times when I've been working with people who have cancer, I try to get them to go back to self-love. What do they need to forgive anyone for or themselves for? Because a lot of the time we hold on to so much anger, resentment to ourselves, and we don't forgive very easily, especially ourselves. We are our worst critics. And every time when I say it to people, how have you been feeling lately? When they've been in that mood. And it's incredible how their faces always go, oh, because they realize that they've been doing it to themselves a lot of the time. Because once you see someone forgive themselves, it's like the whole world makes sense for them again. And their bodies just feel comfortable again. It's incredible to witness.
Yeah, you really do see that in their facial expression right away. Like a burden's been lifted off of them.
The shoulders change and everything when you're, it's crazy.
You can really see it. So I'm just really curious on this. Why is it so hard to love ourselves?
It's interesting, that question. I think it's because somebody else in your past, in your environment, has made you feel like you're not worth it, not good enough. And you've held on to this belief for so long, and then you stacked your own beliefs on top of it, and it just becomes stronger. So a lot of the time when I'm doing work with clients, when we talk about belief systems, because belief systems are really formed by the age of 8, but it'll be a simple belief at 8, like your friend didn't want to play with you in the playground, and then I'm not good enough. And then by 9, something else will happen. It'll stack on. By 10, something else will happen. Then by the time you're in your 30s, the guy doesn't want to marry you. And of course, because you're not good enough. So I believe that it is just a stacking of beliefs throughout your life. And when we do hypnosis to go back in time to childhood, a lot of the time they find out that it's always something someone said, and they stored it in their subconscious mind, and they don't know it but they are actually programmed to be that way without even understanding why.
Yes, that's really an interesting aspect. Sometimes we're very young. We don't have that ability to recall, to actually see, because it's really bit of our own blind spot. So how do you help them find that instance where it's originating?
Yeah. In hypnosis, I never take them back to a time specifically. They have to take themselves back to a time in their mind. So when I did it for myself, I went back to a time in my mind when I was like 4 or 5. I didn't really have this memory before until that day. But I knew it was true when I was in it. And it was like you had to go to a room that you was in when you was a kid, and something upset you. And it was my mom that was leaving on the day, and I hadn't seen her for a long time, and I wasn't going to see her again for a long time. So she came to visit, and as she was leaving, I'm at the window and I'm crying, but I can see the whole room that I used to live in. And I'd never thought about that room that I lived in when I was that age. But it was amazing. That little thing made me scared in later life about people leaving and abandonment. So even though you're having problems now, you might not even realize it came from a time in the past, but it's because your mind can only take you to where it feels safe to take you to at the time. So if I did hypnosis again on me now, if I go back in time, I'll probably go to a different part of time. And when I'm healthier, I'll probably go back to another part when I'm ready to deal with that emotion. So your mind still protects you, even in hypnosis.
Yeah, so you're just guiding individuals back to find that memory and then support them when they find that, because I'm sure there's a lot of emotional charge behind that.
There was a lady that I was working with who couldn't sleep. This happens a lot where people come for one thing and they found out it's something from before. She had insomnia. She went into hypnosis and she went back to a point when she was little, and her dad was leaving, and her dad was always protective, but her mum was always a bit aggressive. So she stayed awake saying, oh, when my dad gets home, I'll be safe. When my dad gets home, I'll be safe. And now she can't sleep because her husband just became a dad. And when he goes to work, she can't sleep. It was incredible that just by tracking that back, that was the only reason why she couldn't sleep. She was thinking that it's not safe. So this is the way the stacking works as well. So you can have problems now in later life that you would never have connected to the belief systems that you had before. It can just till you see it. It's amazing how your mind holds on and stores stuff.
But is it really the mind really holding it on, or is it, we can really go to a deeper discussion? Is it really that aliveness within us, that beingness, the soul that really holds that?
Yeah, I believe it's your soul that's holding it until you're ready to deal with it.
Right.
Definitely a soul level, because who's there all the time is your awareness, is your soul. Even when you're asleep, your awareness knows that you had a great sleep because you was asleep, but awareness must be awake to tell you, I had a good sleep last night.
Yeah, you have that understanding, that feeling. That's a good way to look at that. Their soul is constantly awake. It's the constant observer, and it can really store all those memories. And I'm thinking like all these memories maybe go into our own personal Akashic record, if you will.
Yes. I have in the therapies that I do, I go into a record room almost to see where the memories are. I also use that for other things. So there's teenagers I'm working with now who are doing exams. So every time they study, I get them to close their eyes at the end, and then they go back to the record system, and then they put it in what they just studied, so that when they come to the exam, they'll just close their eyes, imagine going back to the record, opening the case, and then remembering what they studied.
That's a really good idea, because I tell people if you meditate or some kind of process before you have a test, you will do much better. Because when you're get the test right in front of you, there's a panic that can set in. But if you can settle into some kind of process, then regurgitate that information or pull it out.
Yeah, it's just to know where you've stored it. It's powerful because I've done it as well when I was learning. So I've been putting things in as well. And then when I came to the test, I was like, where did I put that? But it does work. I also did with teenagers intuition. So I taught them how to feel into the answer on multiple choice questions. It's just also fascinating to see how they did that.
Yeah, because
I'm a believer in intuition.
Yeah, because the intuition is connected to all that is. So the answers are there if you can get the mind out of the way.
Yeah. And I think that intuition is getting lost. They always say, they hear the word intuition and it's woo-woo or it's crazy, but really it's not. If you think about when the phone rings and you know who it is, or when you've been somewhere and you say, I knew you were going to say that. We all have it, but I think we're losing the skill.
I'm really curious. When I look at people with intuition, I think it's really them not trusting themselves or trusting the information. Is that what you're feeling as well with that?
Yeah. At first, they don't want to guess, but I make it more fun so they feel like I don't have to be scared for it. But yeah, people don't trust themselves, or they don't want to feel like out of control. And I guess intuition feels like you're going to be out of control because something higher is guiding you.
Yeah, it's really these problems that we really self-inflict on us from our upbringing or whatever it may be, this self-love, not trusting ourselves. It all stems to these earlier beliefs.
Yeah. And I really want to show people that you can move away from anything in your mind and just be in your being, because people are trying to go beyond and transcend. But we need to stop. We just need to come home for a minute and just be in your body and feel what's going on in your body instead of chasing and looking for things. Because we have everything in us. We have all the answers once you're ready to hear them. Once you're ready to trust yourself, you have it all. Because you're made perfect.
Yeah, the mind loves that chasing, thinking the answer's out there someplace, somewhere in the world is my answer.
I did that. I read every book. I went to seminars, I went to everything, podcasts. I was trying to listen to everything until I had to listen to myself. It's like you avoid yourself by listening to other people until you realize you need to stop and listen just to your heart, because we have it.
That's a really profound conversation now, that it's very hard to sit with ourselves. I never thought of it this way, that we are really avoiding looking within.
Yeah, we're avoiding being in. I love doing a task where I get people to sit for 60 seconds or up to 5 minutes nothing on in the room, no noise, no nothing. And they just sit there, watch their mind come, talk to them, and then they try to get rid of it just to show them how much it comes in. And then when they say, and they replace it with something else, as soon as they replace it with something else, they do it again and again until the time's up. But what it shows them is that the mind is not them and that they have control over it. So when it comes in, they can actually talk to it to go back. So that is really good because that really shows them that they are still there. Even though the mind comes in, they're still there.
That's really interesting because that's exactly what I did, but I had no teacher, no
Oh,
nothing.
really?
Yeah, I saw like meditation. One of the benefits of meditation was inner peace. I need inner peace. I was stressed out, overwhelmed, 7 diagnosis, all these health issues.
Yeah.
So I read meditation equals inner peace. Like, all right, I'm going to sit and meditate. But I was under the impression that meditation means you stop thinking.
No.
So I had no teacher. I read a page on this. So it was like, okay, I'm sitting here, mind's thinking, stop thinking, mind thinking, stop thinking. Then after 4 days, it was like, whoa, wait a second. If I'm aware of my thoughts, I'm not my thoughts. This was a huge self-realization when I realized if I'm not my thoughts, then who am I? That's where I start asking myself again. But when I was seeing my psychiatrist for 17, 18 years, especially in my 20s when I was suicidal, he never once said to me, why are your thoughts true?
Yeah, and that's my favorite question. Because I love it when you have the realization that you had. That is an incredible realization that you had.
So now my next question was, if I have thoughts, but I'm not my thoughts because I can witness my thoughts, then who am I?
Yeah.
Then I can explain about 2-3 weeks later of sitting with this question, just my 5-minute a day practice, just being present. And one day I just heard a voice say, perfect spirit. I'm like, that's it. My spirit is perfect. It's simply the body and mind that are damaged. Then I just felt this great sense of peace. I guess you would explain it, really deep sense of peace. I knew all is well. And I just knew all my health challenges were over.
See, we don't need to overcomplicate practices. But I really like that because mine was a bit similar. When I was asking, who am I? It was like, you're love itself. You're just you. And it was amazing to have that. I can't even explain the feeling. When I've tried to explain it before.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really like, as best I can describe, it felt like a deep sense of peace or reassurance.
When you was asking inner peace, that's what inner peace felt like.
Yeah, it felt it really deeply. But I love that when you ask your question, who am I? I am love. I am love itself.
And I love asking that people because they always come back with, I'm a mom, I'm a daughter, I'm a CEO, I'm a whatever it is. But you're none of that.
Right.
Like, you're not even your name, you're not your pain, you're not anything but your soul of who you are. And it's so peaceful when you get to that point in life, when you realize that.
Yeah, it's very good though, because you do see that they get that diagnosis and they think it's their destiny.
Yeah,
It's now them.
I'm like, you're not. Stop saying I am. Choose a better word. Don't say you are that thing. Make yourself that thing.
That's exactly it. Leave it at I am. That's it. That's who you
I am
are.
perfect. I'm special.
And that's it. I am that I am.
Oh, I love that.
No, I was thinking that was actually in the Bible when Moses asked, who are you to the burning bush? I am that I am.
I am. I think Wayne Dyer quoted it in one of his speeches.
Yeah, people do quote that. So it's real. What kind of reactions do you get with people when they realize that a 5-minute practice and they can see their thoughts and they're not their thoughts? What's their reaction?
It's very much like yours, actually, and mine. But it is incredible when they come back and say it because it's almost like a different person coming back. So you have this person with troubles and then they come back and their face is clear. Their skin is always clear for some reason after it. And they come back and then they're so more open to anything. Like, they're not worried about stuff as much anymore, or they're not thinking that they have to be perfect. That's what I found. So they become more unstoppable. They just want to do stuff and live life because they've realized that they wasn't, which is the best part about it. Is because so many of us stop doing things because we're scared of it. And once they realize that their thoughts was just the only thing that was holding them back and that they could not be true, and getting them from that to try anything is incredible because they get so unstoppable almost. They just want to go, what's next? What's next? And they improved their life so much from that few minutes practice. Then I them down to self-love after that. Because I believe that self-love will change your life. Once you start practicing self-love techniques on yourself, you will love life. You will love other people better. Other people will love you better. You'll make more money because people want to work with people who love themselves. So self-love actually creates a lot of change in my clients, especially in money, which you wouldn't think, because a lot of them who want to make more money don't believe they deserve it, or they don't believe that they can get the promotion, or they won't want to put themselves out there. So as soon as you start loving yourself and really appreciating yourself, you start doing these things and your whole job will change. Your whole life changes.
There's no fear when you're loving yourself.
No, because you think you can handle anything.
But it's back to when we first talking out, refuse to ask for help because of that fear. What will they think of me?
Yeah. And that was my biggest shift in life when I stopped with the judgment of other people. Obviously, sometimes my mind still kicks in and says, what are they going to think? But I was so a people pleaser and always worried about what people would think, always. And facing that and getting over that was one of my biggest achievements. Just putting myself out there and not caring. I care. Every time I did something, it proved to me something that I didn't need to worry about in the first place. So sometimes it's just doing the things to get the courage that you need. It's just courage you need to face the fear.
And the courage to look within to see what the beliefs are and the stories that are defining you.
Yeah. So in my book that I was just doing I think it's coming out in August, it is all about going beyond beliefs and about how you find out all your beliefs. Because many people don't know what beliefs they hold, like we said earlier. And in the book, I teach you a process to find out what beliefs you've held that are not yours and then how to reprogram them. So I'm really excited for that to come out because I want to help as many people as possible just go beyond their beliefs and just live in their being.
So I'm just thinking, because one of the big things, if we can get beyond our beliefs, we can create this new reality. So what would you do with somebody like myself at 40 years old? All you know is medicine. You have 7 diagnoses. You don't have any belief, any hope of anything getting better. So how do you break through that shell?
It depends on each person. Each person's different. The main thing is the way they talk when they first came in is the language that I pick up from them and about how they're programmed. Because a lot of time I can figure out quite well how people are programmed pretty quickly in terms of health and in terms of self-love. If they feel good enough, you can always tell with the way people talk to you as a therapist, where they're talking backwards and forwards, you can understand just by the language that is used. So I would get you to do my MindSpider technique, which is in the book, and we'll go around for each area of your life and find out what you've been programmed to think about health, relationships, friends, like all areas, all pillars of your life. And then we look for the patterns in each area, and there's always a pattern. And it usually comes back to 3 things. It's normally not good enough, not worthy enough, or different for the world. These are the most 3 popular ones that come up time and time again with people. So I would always work with self-love first, guaranteed, getting them to realize that their mind is not in control, that they're in control of it, and that they can use it not only for the bad, but for the good. So teach you about the law of like polarity, about opposites, about even affirmations. People don't like to think people use affirmations wrong in the first place. But so I use like tailor-made affirmations based on your belief systems, and we reprogram it using that. And that way, when you say these things, you're saying them because you chose them. So your mind will only accept what you've chosen. Like I said at the beginning, your subconscious will only take it in if you've chosen it. So once you've chosen it, it bypasses your critical control point of your brain, and then it will reprogram it faster. So there's a bit of science behind it, but it's quite simple once you do it. But it's amazing how quickly it works. So with the clients who have been doing it, it's been so incredible watching, because they got little spider graphs and stuff, and they send them to me. It's really fun just to watch people's change throughout a few weeks.
It can be a very quick process. What I was just thinking, what you were saying, when people aren't using affirmations properly, that is really true. It relates to going deeper. And for
Yeah,
some reason, I just had an image too of, we are talking about self-love, how Louise Hay would use the mirror, get them to look at the mirror at themselves.
I actually do that as well. The mirror I did when I first started reading her book. Now I do it with clients and I make them look themselves in the eye in the mirror, but I make them look themselves in the eye for a minute because like scientists have studied, if you look into someone else's eyes for a minute, you actually feel a connection to them and a love for them, which is why people don't like it if you look in their eyes too long because they're like, I don't love you, but you don't look in your own eyes. So as you look in your eyes for a minute, you start to feel the love first and then you say, I love you. And it goes quicker than if just standing there saying, I love you.
You're not in the right space for that to be received.
Yeah, but it's emotional when you first do it. It really is. I've had people refuse to do it. People cried. I think I always feel emotion when I do it anyway. Like, I love you. Telling yourself you love you is a big thing. And then the second one I do is doing it for your body because it's really big, especially with women. We've been programmed to not like parts of our bodies, and getting women to stand in front of a mirror with no clothes on and tell themselves that they love every part of themselves. That has been the biggest challenge for people, for women to do. But it has been amazing because once they overcome that, they feel so much confidence to go out in the world and even get new relationships. That one's really powerful, but it takes a lot to do it, to accept your whole body, because we're so used to like covering and facing the world one way. We all have two images, the one that we project and then the one that we are. So it's really something that is really a special technique that I do with people. So I love some of her things that she's taught. I combine a lot of things that I learned from books and change it and do things with psychology as well and put the science in it.
So it sounds like you have all these tools and you share them with your clients so they can find what works for them.
You just do what's worked for you firstly and what works for the majority of people and change it depending on who the person is.
Yeah. So once it sounds like this process you're talking about, that you map out their belief systems, you can guide them to where they are, where they're hung up is the right word. What's catching them?
What's stopping them? So the book is called The Spider Mind. So it's essentially what I want people to think is like you're a spider and you're at the center of your web, and the web all around you is all your beliefs. So you've been webbing these beliefs all around you, but these beliefs have been given to you by other people, society, when you're growing up. And then you're sat out there trying to catch all these dreams, aspirations with this bad web. And all you're going to catch is like bugs. So that's essentially the basis of it. So we reprogram the web in the book. So I wanted to do the book because I've been doing this like myself, then on the clients. And I thought, you know what, it's so good and it's so powerful because I was doing it for 6 weeks with people on a 6-week program. And it was incredible by the time they got to the end. There were different people in 6 short weeks. And I was like, let me simplify it and put it in the book and make it easy for anyone to do.
So they can do that, their own process, but it's always good to have a mentor as well that can see those areas that may be blind to you. I think there's actually these psychological blind spots that we can get and not see a particular area.
That's what's good about the MindSpider thing, because and you can't change what you don't know.
Once you know something, you take away its power.
Yes, it's just the knowing.
Exactly. As we're winding down here today, is there anything that we haven't covered that feels important to talk about?
Mainly, I'd say, I know we spoke about it a little bit, but judgment of other people. I think this was the one that really got me and gets a lot of people to be fearful of other people's reactions to you. The main one is family. We get a lot of people who are scared of doing something because what would their family think? And the belief systems that you hold now that you've been trying to change have actually been given to you by them people. So I'm not saying your family's bad, but a lot of the time our families in goodness and kindness of their hearts hold us back sometimes. And not just family, but friends and meaning people. But I would like people to just have their dream of what they want to do, what their soul is calling out to do. And do not worry about other people. Because other people don't worry much as you think they do about you. because they're too worried about their own lives. And this was the biggest realization that hit me, was when I started doing things that I wanted to do, and then people didn't say nothing. And I was like, oh, that was all in my mind. So I think I would like people to get out their mind, connect internally to who you are, and to know that you're perfect and that you are loved, and you don't need to be anything but you.
Yeah, that's such an important topic to end on, the judgment and the concern yourself with the opinions of others.
They're too busy worrying about what other people are thinking about them.
They get their own challenges. That's what I see when
Yes.
when I'm walking around the world is we have no idea what they're facing.
No.
So why judge them? You don't know what their crisis is at the moment. That's part of the human journey that we're all suffering in some aspect.
Yeah, that's the other thing. People stop judging other people, not just other people judging you, but stop judging other people and look at other people's through a different perspective. Look at their life from a different lens almost, because we look at it through ours. You don't know, like you said, we don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they've been through, what they're growing through. So don't judge other people if you do not want to be judged yourself.
That's a great quote to end with.
Yes.
So, yeah. So if people had questions that are listening, how would they reach out to you?
I'm on all platforms, probably. I think so. I'm on LinkedIn, on Louise Slattery, the Mind Lady. I'm also on Facebook, Louise Slattery Coaching, and Louise Slattery by itself. And then I also got my own podcast there, which is written the Mind Prime podcast behind me.
Thank you for joining us on the conversation. It's been very enlightening.
It's been really nice. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.